As Christians around the world celebrate Easter this weekend, 60 Minutes has a fascinating report by correspondent Bob Simon as he takes us to what some believe is the single most sacred spot on Earth. It's Mount Athos in northern Greece, a place that hasn't been visited by a camera crew for 30 years.
This Byzantine cross marks the border between Mount Athos and the 21st century. The monks come here, as they always have, for the beauty, the tranquility, and the isolation. But most of all, for this. Father Yakovos is one of the few Americans on the mountain. He's been here more than half his life.
You have to understand the words that we're saying in today's liturgy are the same words that Christ was saying, the same words that saints from the 1st century, the 2nd century, the 3rd century, the 4th century.
And nothing has changed in Orthodoxy since then. It's the only branch of Christianity that can make that claim. Father Eliseos is the abbot, the top man, at Simonos Petros, one of the 20 monasteries. It was Abbot Eliseos who invited us here, and never let us forget what a rare privilege it was.
Bob Simon joins us now. Great to have you with us, Bob.
Thanks.
So you look at that video, and it's almost impossible to imagine just getting there. What was it like to get to the place where you covered this story?
Well, first of all, it took a couple of years of trying to convince the monks to get us there, because their whole way of life is to stay away from the world as we know it. So they don't like journalists much at all. But we had done a story earlier on the patriarch of the Greek Orthodox religion, and he sort of liked us. We got along. So he put a little pressure on the monks.
He greased the wheels.
Exactly. So that's how we got there.
And then when you're there, ultimately, what is the life like that these monks lead?
It's unbelievable. They're praying most of the day. I mean, like, they have one service that lasts 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah. And when they're not praying in church, they're praying in their cells, which is what they call their small rooms. And when not doing that, they're working. They're completely self-sufficient. They grow their own food. They do all the work there. They hire nobody. The only people on this peninsula are monks. Nobody else, and pilgrims who come to visit. So they're incredibly busy. They get about 3 hours sleep a night. I don't know how they do it. But you probably know. You probably don't get much more.
We don't get a lot of sleep, but certainly their lifestyle is very different from ours. As an outsider coming in, how did they receive you? You say it's all monks and pilgrims. How do they receive you when you come in?
They were very friendly, and I think they wanted us to like the place, and we did, because it's so special. There's nothing like it in the world. It's just total peace and tranquility, and no women, which for a week is fine. But they were very forthcoming, and they let us do anyway. They let us go to all their services. They let us film their services, which they'd hardly ever done before. And we were thrilled. They gave us total access to the place.
Did you get an impression that there was a part of their story that was most important to them that you got across to 60 Minutes viewers?
I think so. I mean, their whole life is prayer. There's nothing but that. They don't care about anything else. And what they'll tell you is that every day their objective is to get closer to Christ. And they will spend decades on Mount Athos without ever leaving it. They don't like to leave it. Say, occasionally somebody will need medical care and will have to leave it. But they feel very uncomfortable when they come to our world.
What's interesting about this story, however, is that it's not just, you imagine these monks, that they must have all come from the area and gone through this together. But in your story, you talk about individuals who have come from all different places of the world to be a part of this.
No, there's no place like this. So anyone who has an epiphany to become a Greek Orthodox, his goal will be to come here, because it's the holiest spot in the world for them. And no one is in second place. And it's very tough to get into. And you don't just apply and get in. It takes years of being a novice. And they're very picky.
Well, it's incredible that you were able to make it past that doorway to show us something so new. Bob Simon, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.